Hello everyone, I'm Helen from Susan's family. Today, I'm bringing you stained glass patchwork scarf from Chinese Aesthetics series. This product can be made into two styles, a scarf and a triangle scarf. Both are made by joining several motifs together. Then, we crochet the border around the outer edge. The only difference is in how the scarf and triangle scarf are joined. First, we need to crochet and join several motifs. For convenience in explaining, I will refer to these motifs with 4 horns as motif 1. The octagonal motif will be called motif 2. And the smallest motif will be called motif 3. First, complete the crocheting of all required motif 1. Motif 2 and motif 3 are joined along the side as you crochet the outer edge. Finally, crochet the border around the corresponding areas of the outer edge. Let's start with motif 1. Begin with a magic ring. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. We will use several stitches, which are all marked on the chart. I won't go through each one in detail here. Now, please watch as I demonstrate. Some styles will use variegated yarn when crocheting. The starting color segment of this type of yarn differs, and so does the final effect when crocheted. You can refer to the finished product's appearance, or choose based on your preference. For the starting color segment, for easier viewing, I will use cotton yarn for this demonstration. The colors are random, for specific yarn, color schemes, and hook sizes. Please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper charts. First, pick up the corresponding yarn. Then, start with a magic ring. Next, chain 2 as a beginning chain. These 2 chains count as 1/2 double crochet. Pick up the ring and crochet 11 half double crochets. After completing, check the stitch count. Including the beginning chain, there should be a total of 12 stitches. Next, close the ring. Finally, insert into the second chain from the beginning chain. Pick up 2 strands and work 1 slip stitch to join. Pull tight. For the next round, you will need to change colors. Fasten off. Hide the starting tail on the wrong side of the fabric. The side with neat texture is the right side of the fabric. The wrong side has a relatively blurred texture. You can hide the tail with several times. Then fasten off. The ending tail can be hidden into the wrong side using the same method. Alternatively, you can weave in it while crocheting the next round. At this point, R1 is complete. Next, crochet R2. Pick up the corresponding color yarn. Start at the first stitch from the previous round. Insert into where the slip stitch was made. Join the yarn here. Make a slip knot with the yarn. Place it on the hook. Draw through. Adjust slightly. Then make one chain to start. This is the beginning chain for single crochet. It doesn't count as one stitch. Next, insert into the same position. Make one single crochet. If you haven't hidden in the yarn tail yet, you can place the yarn over the hook now and weave in it as you crochet. Then crochet 8 chains. Next, go back. Insert into the third chain from the hook, counting from right to left. The loop on the hook does not count. 1, 2, 3. This is the chain. Pick up one strand on the top of the chain. Work 1/2 double crochet. Continue to pick up one strand on the top of the adjacent chain, and make even half double crochets all the way down. Finish with the last chain. Mindful to keep the fabric straight. Do not twist the chains. The right side of R1 should be facing you. Pick up the same insertion point as the single crochet below, and work one single crochet. Pick up the left stitch to work a single crochet. The adjacent stitches may pucker a little. Pick up 2 strands on the top. Work one single crochet. Continue to pick up stitches normally and work single crochets. Here I will treat the initial single crochet to the single crochet at the same position as one group of the pattern. The 2 single crochets on the left side can be seen as one spacer. Work a pattern then. First, pick up a stitch and work one single crochet. Then work 8 chains. Next, go back. Pick up the third chain from the right going left. Pick up one strand on the top of each chain, and make even half double crochet. Then pick up the same insertion point as the single crochet, and work one single crochet. Now you have completed one pattern. Work a spacer then. That is, pick up each stitch, and correspondingly make 2 single crochets. Then proceed with one pattern. followed by one spacer, alternating. You can also refer to the chart for specifics. Continue working downwards. After completing the last spacer, on the initial single crochet, join with a slip stitch. Here, the vertical small braid is the beginning chain, skip it. And the horizontal braid on the left is the stitch. Insert and work. Once completed, pull tight. For the next round, you need to change colors. Cut the yarn. Hide the yarn tail on the wrong side of the fabric, or weave it in as you work the next round. At this point, our 2 is complete. Continue with our 3. Pick any pattern from the previous round and insert into the first chain space above the single crochet. Here, pick up the 2 strands of the chain. This is also the insertion point for the stitches on this side. Join the yarn here. Then make one beginning chain. Work one single crochet in the same position. If you didn't hide the yarn tail at the end of the previous round, you will encounter it here. Weave it in as you work. Continue to pick up the 2 strands of the next chain. Crochet 1/2 double crochet. Work 1 double crochet in the same position. In the next chain space, crochet 1 double crochet. Work 1 treble crochet. The technique for treble crochet is yarn over twice. Insert. Yarn over and draw the yarn through. Then yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat this 3 times. Once. Twice. 3 times. This completes the treble crochet. Continue by picking up the adjacent chain and work a TR2 in 1. This means working 2 treble crochets in the same position. First one. Second one. This completes the TR2 in 1. Move down and continue to pick up the next adjacent chain. Then work 1 treble crochet and 1 double crochet. In the next stitch, work a DC2 in 1. This means working 2 double crochets in the same position. First one. Second one. This completes the DC2 in 1. Then, work 2 chains for transition. Next, pick up the stitch of the half double crochet on this side. Pick up the adjacent stitch and work a DC2 in 1. In the following stitch, work 1 double crochet and 1 treble crochet. In the next stitch, work a TR2 and 1. In the adjacent stitch, work 1 treble crochet and 1 double crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 double crochet and 1 half double crochet. In the last stitch, work 1 single crochet. Then, pick up the stitch of the single crochet below, slip stitch. Here, the slip stitch does not need to be tightened. The chart uses oval-shaped dots to indicate this. I consider the starting single crochet to the ending single crochet as one group of petals. Then, work 2 chains for transition. Skip the positions of 2 single crochets. Pick up the single crochet for the next group of petals. Work 1 slip stitch. I consider the 2 slip stitches and the chains between them as one spacer. Next, pick up the position from the previous pattern. Crochet a group of petals. Start crocheting from the chain. For the specific stitches here, you can refer to the previous sections. You can also refer to the chart. After that, crochet a spacer. For the rest, pick up the previous round's pattern. Correspondingly crochet the petals with the spacer in between. Following this method, continue crocheting. Work the final slip stitch into the first single crochet of the previous round. This completes the last spacer. Next, pick up the left single crochet and join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. For the next round, you need to change colors. Cut the yarn. This completes our 3. Next, crochet our 4. Add any petal from the previous round. Below the chain, pick up the gap between the half double crochet and the chain beside it to join the yarn. Stretch the loop slightly higher than the previous round, then make 1 chain to start. In the same position, work 1 single crochet. Here, also stretch the yarn a bit, slightly higher than the previous round. Pick up the chain space from the previous round below. And work 1 single crochet. Pick up adjacent stitches. Work even single crochet, continuing until just before the single crochet of the petal. When you reach the corresponding position, skip the single crochet. Pick up below the adjacent chain, where you previously skipped 2 single crochets, and work slip stitches correspondingly, one by one. Then, starting from the half double crochet of the next petal, pick up stitches and work 4 single crochets correspondingly. If you encounter a tail from the previous round while working, weave in it as you crochet. After completing, work a cluster of single crochet and half double crochets. Simultaneously join the left edge of the previous petal. For easier explanation, I will refer to this as a special cluster. First, work an incomplete single crochet in the adjacent stitch. Insert. Yarn over and pull through. This is the incomplete single crochet. Next, find the left side of the previous petal. At the 5th single crochet from bottom to top, work an incomplete half double crochet. Yarn over once. Insert into the corresponding stitch from behind. Yarn over and draw through. This is the incomplete half double crochet. Now there are 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through all the loops once. This completes the special cluster. Here, the 2 petals are joined. Continue picking up stitches and working even single crochet. When you encounter a chain, pick up the space and make 1 single crochet. Then pick up the gap between the half double crochet below and the adjacent chain, and make 1 single crochet. Then return to the top. Continue picking up the chain space and make 1 single crochet. Continue picking up stitches and working single crochets correspondingly until just before the single crochet. After completing this, I consider the stitches worked on this petal as one group. Pick up below the chain and work 2 slip stitches correspondingly. Then move to the next petal and work this group. Start by making 4 single crochets. Begin from the half double crochet as before. Then work a special cluster, which needs to join with the left side of the previous petal. First, work the incomplete single crochet in the adjacent stitch. Then pick up the 5th single crochet from the bottom up, on the left side of the previous petal. Work 1 incomplete half double crochet. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops once to complete the special cluster. This also completes the connection between petals. Then continue referring to the previous work and the chart to finish this group. After completing, pick up below the chain and work slip stitches. Then continue working on the next group. During this process, the special cluster should join to the previous petal. After completing, pick up below the chain and work slip stitches. Then reaching the starting position. Here, you've completed half of the work. Continue to complete the remaining half. Pay attention to joining the petals during this process. First, work 4 single crochets. Then work the special cluster. Continue working single crochets after that. Note that the last single crochet should be worked into the chain space. After completing, at the starting single crochet, pick up the stitch and slip stitch. Slightly tighten. Cut the yarn. Hide the tail on the wrong side of the fabric. At this point, motif 1 is completed. Now, refer to the pattern to check the dimensions. If the size differs significantly, it's recommended to adjust your tension, or switch to a different hook size and crochet again. Next, follow the chart, and complete the corresponding number of motif 1. Then, crochet motif 2 and join the motifs. This section is divided into the main part and decorations. Start by crocheting the main part. After completing it, add the decorations on the main part. The main part also begins with the magic ring. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise from the center outwards. On the last round, join as you go with motif 1. We will use 3 new stitches, SC2 tog, SC2 in 1, and double treble crochet. Now, please watch as I demonstrate. Start with a magic ring. Then make 3 chains as a beginning chain. These count as a double crochet. Next, insert and crochet 15 double crochets into the ring. If you can't fit them all, you can move the completed part backwards slightly and continue crocheting. After completing this round, check the stitch count. The beginning chain counts as 1 stitch. There should be a total of 16 stitches. Then close the ring. Finally, on the top chain from the beginning chain, pick up 2 strands and join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. For the following rounds, do not change colors. There's no need to fasten off. You can hide the starting tail on the wrong side of the fabric. This completes our 1. Now move on to our 2. Start with 3 chains as a beginning chain. Work 1 double crochet in the same position. This is where the slip stitch was inserted in the previous round. After completing it, move down to the adjacent stitch. Work even DC 2 in 1. Then work 1 chain as a spacer. Skip 1 stitch below. Pick up and work a DC 2 in 1 in each of the following 3 stitches. Work 1 chain as a spacer. Continue with 3 DC 2 in 1. 1 chain. Alternate crocheting. After completing each chain, skip 1 stitch below. You can also refer to the chart for specifics. Finish with 1 chain. In the 3rd stitch of the beginning chain, pick up 2 strands and slip stitch. Pull tight. R2 is complete. Continue crocheting R3. Start with 3 chains as the beginning chain. Work 1 double crochet in the same position. This round does not use any new stitches or techniques. Just follow the chart for crocheting. Finish at the 3rd stitch of the beginning chain. Pick up 2 strands and slip stitch. Pull tight. R3 is complete. Continue with R4. Start with 2 chains as the beginning chain. Then pick up stitches to the left. Work 1 double crochet. Work 1 DC 2 in 1 in the adjacent stitch. Work 1 half double crochet next. Work 1 SC2 tog then. First, pick up the adjacent stitch. Work 2 incomplete single crochets. Now you should have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops once. This completes the SC2 tog. Continue picking up stitches. Correspondingly work 1/2 double crochet. 1 DC2 in 1. 1 double crochet. 2 chains. 1 slip stitch in the adjacent stitch. I will treat the starting 2 chains to this slip stitch. As a group, work 2 chains for transition. Skip the chain space below. Pick up the adjacent stitch and work 1 slip stitch. Then crochet a group like this. I'll demonstrate it one more time. Start with 2 chains. Then pick up the stitch and correspondingly work 1 double crochet. 1 DC2 in 1. 1/2 double crochet. A SC2 tog in the adjacent stitches. Followed by correspondingly working 1/2 double crochet. 1 DC2 in 1. 1 double crochet. 2 chains. 1 slip stitch. Now, another group is completed. Follow with 2 chains for transition. Pick up the adjacent stitch and work 1 slip stitch. For the following part, refer to the previous steps and the chart for crocheting. After completing the last group, continue with 2 chains. Then, at the beginning chain from the previous round, join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. For the next round, you need to change colors. Fasten off. Now, R4 is completed. Next, work on R5. Join the yarn at the 2 chains from the beginning of the previous round. Make 1 chain as your beginning chain. Work 2 single crochets in the same position. Pay attention to weaving in the tail as you crochet. Then, pick up the adjacent stitch. Work at SC2 in 1. That is, make 2 single crochets in the same position. First. Second. Complete the SC2 in 1. Continue working another SC2 in 1. Correspondingly, make 2 single crochets. A slip stitch. 2 single crochets. Two SC2 in 1. Pick up the chain space. Make 2 single crochets. Then work a double treble crochet while joining it to motif 1. Yarn over 3 times. On the right side of the fabric, pick up and insert into the stitch from R1 that was skipped earlier. Do not wrap the top in. Then yarn over and draw the yarn through. Pull the yarn to the height of R2. Then yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat this 3 times. You will have 2 loops remaining on your hook. This stitch is also an incomplete double treble crochet. Now join it to motif 1. Pick up any motif 1. There's no fixed requirement for the placement of motif 1. Find the top of any corner of motif 1. At the centered single crochet, work 1 slip stitch. Insert. Yarn over and draw through. Continue to pull through all loops on the hook. This completes the double treble crochet. It also acts as a slip stitch to join. Be careful not to work too tight here. Keep the motifs laying flat. Continue following the chart as you crochet. Crochet until you reach the next double treble crochet. When you reach the corresponding position, work a double treble crochet and join with the next motif 1. Yarn over 3 times. Pick up the skipped double crochet below from R1. Then work an incomplete double treble crochet. Pick up another motif 1. Find the top of any corner. Insert from the right side. Yarn over and draw through. Pull through all loops on the hook in one go. This completes the double treble crochet, completing the join simultaneously. Going forward, only join motif 1 at the double treble crochet. For other positions, crochet accordingly. Note that when making the triangle scarf, some motifs too need to be joined at only 3 points. At the unjoined points, simply work a complete double treble crochet. Next, I will demonstrate the double treble crochet without joining. That is, the complete double treble crochet. I will demonstrate this on the sample. First, work an incomplete double treble crochet. There are 2 loops remaining on the hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook. This completes the double treble crochet. Refer to the chart for the following steps and continue crocheting. Finish the last double treble crochet position. Then, slip stitch to the starting single crochet. Tighten. Cut the yarn. Hide the yarn tail on the wrong side of the fabric. At this point, the main part of motif 2 is completed. Crochet the decorations. Work into the stitch of R1. Pick up the corresponding yarn. Insert into any stitch. Join the yarn. The starting loop should neither be too tight nor too loose. Pick up stitches. Make even slip stitch. Ensure the slip stitches are not too tight. A slightly looser tension looks better. Finish the last stitch. Pull up a large loop. Leave a longer yarn tail. Cut the yarn. Then insert from bottom to top into the first braid on the left side. Draw the yarn through. Insert from behind into the center of the last braid. Pull the yarn through. Tie a double knot with the beginning and ending tails on the wrong side. Hide the remaining tails inside the fabric. This decorative part is now crocheted. At the same time, one complete motif 2 is finished. Everyone follow this method to crochet and join the corresponding motif 2. Next, crochet motif 3. Start with a magic ring. Crochet in rounds. For the outer edge, continue to join as you go. Use a new stitch, the CH3SL picket. Please watch the demonstration. First, make a slip knot. Then, chain 3 as the beginning chain. Next, insert and crochet 2 double crochets. Follow with 2 chains. Continue by crocheting 3 more double crochets. Make a spacer of 2 chains. Then alternate between 3 double crochets and 2 chains. Repeat this pattern twice. After completing, close the ring. Finally, insert into the third chain of the beginning chain. Pick up 2 strands and join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. At this point, R1 is complete. Continue to crochet R2. Start with 1 chain as the beginning chain. In the same position, make 1 single crochet. Then, in the adjacent position, crochet 1 more single crochet. Next, you need to crochet a CH3SL picket. From now on, I will simply call it a picket. Here, you also need to make a join. Join it with motif 2. Start with 1 chain. Then find the position above the SC2 tog of motif 2. where the slip stitch should be placed. Work one slip stitch in that spot. After that, continue with one more chain. Then find the single crochet below. Pick up the front loop of it and the strand on the left side. Work one slip stitch. Now the picket is completed. The connection is also finished. Originally, this part was supposed to have 3 chains, but because of the need for a join, the middle stitch was changed to a slip stitch. Continue by picking up the next stitch and working one single crochet. One single crochet in the adjacent chain space. Then crochet 2 chains. Pick up the same chain space and work one double crochet. Pick up the center stitch of the next 3 double crochets. Crochet 2 treble crochets. Then continue with 1 treble crochet. A connection is needed here. Yarn over twice. Insert. Yarn over and draw the yarn through. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat this step 2 more times. This is equivalent to an incomplete treble crochet. Next, locate the position of motif 1, where the petals were previously joined. Insert into the half double crochet. Yarn over and draw through. Draw through all loops on the hook once. Complete the treble crochet. This also completes the join. Essentially, this is like making a slip stitch join. Then continue with 2 more treble crochets in the same spot. Pick up the next chain space and crochet 1 double crochet. 2 chains. 1 single crochet. Then work a single crochet in each of following 2 stitches. Next, you need to crochet picket. For some positions of motif 3 here, one side of the picots does not need to be joined. When you encounter a position that needs joining, follow the previous method to crochet. Crochet 1 chain, 1 slip stitch, and 1 chain. Then pick up the corresponding stitch of a single crochet, the front loop and the left side strand, and slip stitch. If there's no need to join the motif, just crochet the picket as usual. Here, I'll demonstrate the normal way to crochet picket. First, crochet 3 chains. Then pick up the stitch below. Use the front loop and the left side strand, and slip stitch. Finish the picket. Then continue by picking up the next stitch and working 1 single crochet. Work 1 single crochet into the adjacent chain space. Crochet 2 chains. Work 1 double crochet into the same chain space. Pick up the center stitch of the next 3 double crochets. Crochet 5 treble crochets. The centered treble crochet needs to be joined. First, crochet 2 treble crochets. Then work an incomplete treble crochet. Next, pick up the connection point corresponding to the petal of motif 1. Insert. Yarn over and draw the yarn through. Complete the treble crochet. The connection is also completed. Continue by working 2 more treble crochets in the same position. Then pick up the left chain space and work 1 double crochet, 2 chains, 1 single crochet. Finally, slip stitch in the starting single crochet. Pull tight. Cut the yarn. At this point, motif 3 is completed. Next, follow the same method to crochet and join the required motif 3. Crochet and join all motif 3. This concludes the explanation of crocheting and joining all motifs. The crocheting and joining of the motifs are now completed. Now we will proceed to crochet the border. This includes crocheting the border for the scarf and the triangle scarf. The crochet pattern for both is the same. The insertion points are slightly different for some parts. I will first explain the border for the scarf. Crochet in rounds along the outer edge. We will use 2 new stitches, DTR tog, and the opposite stitch, TR tog. Please watch the demonstration. Here, I'm demonstrating with a sample. The scarf has long sides and short sides. Find one of the short sides at the corner on the right side edge, at the center top of motif 1. Pick up the central single crochet at the top of motif 1 on the upper right. Join the yarn here. Then make 3 beginning chains. Crochet 3 chains as a spacer. Next, pick up the 3rd single crochet from the left of motif 1 on the left side. Work 1 single crochet, followed by 3 chains as a spacer. Count down 3 stitches. Work 1 double crochet into the 3rd stitch. Make 3 chains as a spacer. Pick up the next petal beside the connection point of the petal. On the stitch on the left side, work 1 double crochet. Follow with 3 chains as a spacer. Count 3 stitches to the left. Work 1 single crochet into the 3rd stitch. Make 3 chains as a spacer. Then pick up the 3rd stitch on the left side, which is the single crochet at the tip of this petal, and work 1/2 double crochet. Follow with 3 chains as a spacer. Later, you will need to work a TR tog. First, find the 2nd single crochet from the left and work an incomplete treble crochet. Then locate adjacent motif 3 at the picket that was not previously joined. Pick up the center of the picket and work an incomplete double treble crochet. Now you should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops once. This completes the TR tog. Then work 2 chains as a spacer. Next, pick up the same picket below, and work 1 double treble crochet. Follow with 2 chains as a spacer. Then work a DTR tog. Start by picking up the picket and working an incomplete double treble crochet. Then pick up the petal of the motif 1 on the left. At the top of the petal, the third stitch to the right of the single crochet. Pick up this stitch. Work an incomplete treble crochet. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops once. This completes the DTR tog. Then work 3 chains. Next, pick up the centered single crochet of the petal, and work 1/2 double crochet. Follow with 3 chains as a spacer. Pick up the third single crochet on the left and work 1 single crochet. Three chains. Pick up the third single crochet on the left and work 1 double crochet. 3 chains as a spacer. Then pick up the connection point of the left petal. Work 1 double crochet into the stitch on the left. Three chains as a spacer. Pick up the third stitch on the left and work 1 single crochet. 3 chains as a spacer. Reach the corner of the edge. Pick up the centered single crochet of the petal and work 1 double crochet. 2 chains. 1 double crochet. From now on, pick up the corresponding positions of motif 1 and motif 3, and crochet the corresponding stitches. The specific insertion positions are marked on the chart. The stitches used have all been demonstrated before. Everyone can directly refer to the chart, and finish crocheting the remaining part. Crochet all the way back to the starting position. Work 1 double crochet at the joining yarn spot. 2 chains. Then at the top of the beginning chain, which is the third chain, pick up 2 strands and slip stitch. Pull tight. At this point, R1 is complete. Move on to crochet R2. Continue using the previous yarn. Directly make 2 chains to start. Then pick up below. In the chain space on the right, work 1/2 double crochet. In the adjacent chain space, work 4 single crochets. In the next space, work 4 single crochets. For the rest of this round, no new stitches or techniques are used, just follow the chart. Note that the corner is in the space between double crochets with 2 chains. Work 2 half double crochets, 2 chains and 2 half double crochets. For other positions, pick up the CH3 spaces, and some stitches. Correspondingly work the matching stitches. Continue to complete this round. Finish with the 2 chains. At the top of the beginning chain, which is at the second chain, pick up 2 strands and slip stitch. Pull tight. For the next round, you need to change colors. Fasten off. At this point, R2 is complete. Next, work R3. Join the yarn in the chain space at the corner of the previous round. Then make 4 chains to start. Work 6 chains as spacers. Then skip the next 4 stitches to the left. Note that the beginning chain counts as the 1 stitch. Pick up the next stitch. Work 1 treble crochet. Work another treble crochet adjacent to it. Continue working 6 chains. For the rest of this round, pick up and work treble crochets in the corresponding positions. Between every 2 treble crochets, work 6 chains as spacers. Note that at the corner, work into the chain space. Follow this method to complete this round. Finally, pick up the initial chain space and work 1 treble crochet. Then, at the top of the beginning chain, which is the 4th chain, pick up 2 strands and slip stitch. Pull tight. R3 is complete. For the next round, you need to change colors. Fasten off. Continue with R4. On the left of the previous round's beginning chain, pick up and join yarn at the top of the beginning chain of R2. Comes out from the front here. Then make 3 chains as the beginning chain. Pick up a stitch on the left and work 1 double crochet. Follow with 8 chains as a spacer. Next, skip the treble crochet on the left. Skip 2 more stitches. Pick up the next 2 stitches and work a double crochet in each. Before you do this, you need to draw through the chain from the space on the left of the treble crochet. This will cross with the chain from the previous round. After completing this, work 8 chains. Then follow the yarn tail and bring the chain to the back. Next, at the front, pick up the 3rd stitch from the left of the treble crochet and work 2 double crochets correspondingly. Follow with 8 chains. Then cross with the chain from the previous round. After that, at the 3rd and 4th stitch, on the left of the treble crochet, work 2 double crochets correspondingly. Continue by picking up and working a double crochet in each following stitch. At the corners, work DC2 in 1. Between every 2 double crochets, and between double crochets and DC2 in 1, there should be a spacer of 8 chains. Before working a double crochet or a DC2 in 1, make sure to cross the chain with the chain from the previous round. Follow this method to complete this round. After finishing the last 8 chains, cross them with the chain from the previous round. Then pick up the 3rd chain from the beginning chain. Pick up 2 strands and slip stitch. Pull tight. Our 4 is now complete. For the following round, you need to change colors. Fasten off. Now proceed to our 5. Insert into the gap between the beginning chain and the treble crochet of our 3. Join the new yarn. Weave in the top chain as you work. Then start with 3 chains as the beginning chain. In the same position, crochet 3 double crochets. Crochet 1 chain for spacing. Next, insert into the gap between the treble crochets to the left. Crochet 3 double crochets. Weave in the top chain as you work. Crochet 2 chains. In the same position, continue with 3 more double crochets. I consider these stitches a small shell. Crochet 1 chain for spacing. Continue by picking up the gaps between the treble crochets. Crochet these small shells. Separate each shell with 1 chain. When you reach a corner, insert into the gap between the treble crochets here. Crochet 4 double crochets. Followed by 2 chains and 4 more double crochets. I consider this a large shell. After this, crochet large shells at the corners, and small shells at all other positions. Between each shell, crochet 1 chain as a spacer, and always insert into the gap between 2 treble crochets. Continue crocheting. When you reach the starting position, insert into the hole and crochet 4 double crochets. Follow with 2 chains. Add the initial 4 double crochets, completing the large shell at the corner. Finally, slip stitch at the top of the beginning chain. Pull tight. R5 is completed. For styles that require a color change, simply fasten off. Some styles do not require a color change, so the yarn tail should be left as is. Next, crochet R6. If there is a color change, insert into the corner chain space to join the yarn. When there is no color change, continue crocheting directly with the previous yarn. I continue using the previous yarn. Start with 3 chains as the beginning chain. Then pick up the chain space on the right, crochet 2 double crochets. Next, pick up the adjacent beginning chain on the left. Crochet a DC2 in 1. Continue picking up adjacent stitch and crocheting DC2 in 1. Pick up the chain space from R3. Insert into the top of the double crochet. Crochet 1 single crochet. Pick up the chain space of the shell on the left. Crochet 10 double crochets. After completing, pick up the chain space from R3. Similarly, insert into the top of the double crochet, crochet 1 single crochet. For the small shells, pick up the chain spaces, and crochet 10 double crochets. Then pick up the chain space from R3 and crochet 1 single crochet. At the corner, pick up the stitch and chain space, and crochet the corresponding stitches. Refer to the chart for continuing your crochet work. When you reach the starting position, pick up the corresponding stitches and crochet 2 DC2 in 1. Then pick up the chain space, and crochet 3 double crochets. Make 2 chains. Finally, slip stitch at the top of the beginning chain. Pull tight. Cut the yarn. Hide all yarn tails on the wrong side of the fabric. That concludes the border for the scarf. Next, we will explain the border for the triangle shawl. This is divided into the main body and the ties. Start by crocheting the main body. Work back and forth along the top edge. Finally, pick up the bottom edge and crochet in rounds. After completing it, crochet the ties at both ends. The pattern for the main body is the same as the scarf border. Only one side of the beginning and end is slightly different from before. Now, please watch my demonstration. First, work H1. Here, I'm demonstrating with a sample. Place the fabric in the shape of a right triangle. Then, at the top of the petal on the right edge. Pick up the centered single crochet and join the yarn. Next, work from right to left following the chart. Crochet until you reach the top of the petal at this end of the edge. Leave the bottom unworked for now. H1 is now complete. For the next row, continue using the same color. Don't cut the yarn here. Move on to H2. Start with 2 chains as a beginning chain. Turn over. Then pick up the chain spaces to the left and work 4 single crochets. Continue by picking up the corresponding positions from the previous row and crocheting. When crocheting into stitches, note that it's the wrong side of the previous row. The stitch is located at the upper left. Continue working. For the last stitch, crochet into the beginning chain of the previous row, which is the second chain. Pick up 2 strands of the chain. Work 1/2 double crochet. Then fasten off. At this point, H2 is completed. For H3 to H5, no new stitches or methods are used. Here, I'll explain using a completed sample. For 3, pick up the corresponding position and join the yarn. Then continue to work treble crochets. Between each pair of stitches, work the corresponding number of chains as spacers. After completing the last stitch, fasten off. For H4, start at one end of the previous row. Pick up the corresponding position from H2 and join the yarn. Then continue crocheting. Here, work 2 double crochets and the corresponding number of chains. At the corner, correspondingly make DC2 in 1. Note that before making each double crochet, or DC2 in 1, you need to intersect the chains with the previous row. The last stitch should be worked into the beginning chain on the edge of H2. Pick up 2 strands of the second chain. After that, fasten off. For the next row, H5, pick up the gaps between treble crochets and work small shells. At the corners, work large shells. The stitches and methods have been demonstrated before. Refer to the chart to complete these rows. After completing them, start crocheting or 6. Here you need to pick up both sides and crochet in rounds. Begin by joining the yarn in the double crochet at the start of H4. Then work the corresponding double crochets and single crochets. Insert into the chain spaces of H3 for all single crochets. When crocheting, wrap around the top. For double crochets, insert into the chain spaces of the shells. At the corners, work DC2 in 1 and double crochets. In the middle, you need to crochet 2 chains. The last stitch should be worked into the edge stitch of H3. Refer to the chart and complete the upper side first. I have already finished this part. Then pick up the other side and crocheting. Continue using the previous yarn. Start with 1 chain as the beginning chain. Then find the edge double crochet. Pick up it entirely. Crochet 2 single crochets. Continue to pick up the edge double crochet and crochet 2 single crochets. As you crochet, pay attention to weaving in the previous tail. Next is the beginning chain. Correspondingly make 1 single crochet. Similarly, pick it up and crochet. At the adjacent half double crochet, crochet 2 single crochets. Pick up the half double crochet and make 1 single crochet. Next, refer to the chart to pick up the petals and the connection points of the petals to work single crochets. SC2 in 1 and SC2 tog. Pay attention to the insertion point for the SC2 tog. The chart marks these positions. Refer to the chart for the insertion points and crochet accordingly. Crochet along the edge of this side. Pick up the insertion point of the beginning chain and make 1 single crochet. At the adjacent beginning chain, crochet 2 single crochets. At the half double crochet, make 1 single crochet. On the edge of the next row, crochet 2 single crochets. Finally, at the first double crochet, on the left of the beginning chain, pick up the stitch and slip stitch. Here, you can tighten or not. At this point, our 6 is completed. The main part has now been explained. Then make the ties. Continue with the previous yarn. Start by crocheting the tie on this end. Make 3 chains as the beginning chain. In the same position, crochet 1 double crochet. That is, insert into the position below where you slip stitched. I consider the 3 chains and 1 double crochet as one group. Continue crocheting this group. Start with 3 chains as the beginning chain. Then pick up the front loop of the double crochet below and the strand on the left. Crochet 1 double crochet. This completes the group. Then follow the method for the second group. Refer to the chart to complete the corresponding number of groups. You can also crochet to the desired length. For specifics, refer to the chart. Adjust according to your preference as well. After completing the last group, fasten off and hide the tail. At this point, one side of the tie is completed. Now crochet the tie on the other side. Find the other end. On the edge of the last round. In the final stitch of 10 double crochets, join the yarn. Start with 3 chains as the beginning chain. Correspondingly make 1 double crochet. This completes the group. Continue crocheting the groups. Starting from the second group, each double crochet will be worked by picking up the front loop of the stitch and the left side strand. After completing the corresponding number of groups, fasten off and hide the tail. Everyone can now finish this part. At this point, both sides of the ties have been explained. Meanwhile, the border of the triangle scarf has also been covered. Up to this point, the entire process of making this scarf has been fully explained. If you have any questions during the process, don't hesitate to reach us via our website. Susan's Family. Support your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.